Hi, this is James Headley. Welcome back to the Living in Savannah channel. We are having a bitter cold snap here, unexpected in the middle of November, as we head into member weekend actually at the Landings Club with 200 and some odd players, but that's a whole other story. We can talk about it in a future episode. In any event, I'm going to take advantage of this cold day and the lack of golfers out on the Palmetto course, one of the 6 here, to give you a tour and a little orientation. I should say that the Palmetto course is just about to be renovated, primarily greens complexes. I actually had the opportunity to attend a banquet last night for the Landings Men's Golf Association and hear from Bergen Architects, who are leading that charge. Lots of exciting things happening, making the course more playable for higher handicaps, while at the same time also maintaining the shot value and the challenge, and in fact increasing it a bit for the better players. So a really great plan for the renovation here. But the heart of the course, the bones of the course, will remain the same. We've been assured, and this frankly is probably my favorite course out here just because of the layout of the course. It's certainly, I think, the most challenging course and the fairest course of the 6 in that respect, or fairest to par. So I hope you enjoy the tour today, and as always, I appreciate you liking, subscribing, and sharing. Apologies for the bound up tire today, but we're in the 30s, rare day here. Let's start off with the first hole directly behind me, and again, enjoy the tour, and feel free to be in touch anytime if I can help with your real estate needs, questions about the area, etc. The first hole here at Palmetto is a par 4, just a pretty straightforward starting hole. However, it is a bit tight. There is a fairway, sort of upper area to the fairway, and then it does fall off pretty sharply down to the right. You can see the coquina off in the distance and some trees there that will come into play if you end up a little bit too far right, and certainly if you end up a bit too far left. But a nice welcome to Palmetto. Here we are on the second tee at Palmetto. This is a par 5. It's a great par 5. You can see perhaps off in the distance, just to the left of those trees on the right-hand side, there is a large lake which runs down alongside the approach area. Can come into play for the longest hitters off the tee, but primarily you can bomb away on the tee shot, but then it gets very interesting, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. And here we are at the green of the par 5 second hole at Palmetto. Just a note about the conditioning out here. As you can see, there's some brown going on for sure. That's not the dormancy of the grass. We do overseed here at the Landings, but this is part of the turf eradication that's going on in anticipation of that renovation that I mentioned, which will be completed late in 2023. So the Palmetto course will be closing likely toward the end of this year, early in next year, for 10-11 months to take on the project of updating and making some of those changes I referenced regarding playability. But the overall beauty out here that you can see, I mean, just a wonderful vista. Lots of lovely homes. Love to talk with you about those if you're interested in the area, the club, golf, tennis, pickleball, bocce. Great neighbors, great fun. Here for your needs. Thank you. Number 3 at Palmetto is a par 3. Plays 178 yards from the club tees, which are the most commonly played tees out here. Most courses out here have 5, 6, 7 sets of tees. There will be an expansion of the tee boxes here, extension of the tee boxes, additional leveling and build up for some of the forward tees as part of the project that I've been talking about. But just a really good par 3, definitely a challenge. Lots of bunkering surrounding this green. There will be some changes in that contouring. Again, in the interest of making it still challenging yet playable for the average player. The expectation is from the architect that the rating of the course will actually go up as a result, indicating that challenge, but the slope will come down, indicating more playability, more opportunities to make bogey rather than double bogey for some of the average to higher handicap golfers. But again, just a great setting out here. Really good par 3. And I'll see you on the 4th. Number 4 at Palmetto is a very challenging par 4. Plays 390 from the club tees. Really a push oftentimes to hit it to the left here, just because of these trees down the right hand side that visually make you line up a bit left, which increases the length of this hole, which is a very slight dogleg to the right. Very good challenge here. Par is definitely a positive for most. If you can walk off of this with 4, you're feeling pretty good going into the 5th. That brings us to number 5 tee. This is the second and final par 3 on the front 9 here. This is a par 72 golf course, Arthur Hill's design again. It is 2 par 3s on the front and back, and 2 par 5s along with the remaining par 4s. This is a bit of a challenging shot over water. Generally plays about 150 to 160. Very large green, so definitely some significant playability. Playing on this hole is an interesting one to really reshape this lake to increase the challenge a bit on the tee shot, but at the same time also allow for some of the forward tees to be able to play the ball on the ground rather than in the air, and again lead to that idea of keeping the challenge and maybe in some cases increasing the challenge for the lower handicap players, while at the same time making it more enjoyable and more playable for the higher handicap players. Just a really pretty par 3. And I'll give you a sense of some of the homes around this hole. Indicative of the landings, quite a range of different homes. On the Palmetto course, we are, as you might guess, primarily in the Palmetto neighborhood of the landings, but we also, on this hole and the prior hole, and also a bit on the back 9, will border on the Midpoint neighborhood, which is a really great neighborhood. Some more larger homes there. It was originally conceived to be built in the style of Alexandria, Virginia, Old Town Alexandria. So you get a lot of red brick colonials. Really just a very distinctive neighborhood here in the landings. And I will see you on the 6th tee. The 6th hole at Palmetto presents us with another of the challenging par 4s that are really representative of this golf course. You can see a bit of a dog leg to the left here. Plays about 380 from the club tees. Don't want to bite off too much, but down that left-hand side certainly takes a bit of distance off of this hole for a second shot that is protected on the left by a considerable amount of marsh that does cut in on that left-hand side of the green up there, and we'll have a look at that in just a minute. As we come in from 100 yards into the 6th green, one thing that you may notice here is that there isn't any bunkering here around this hole. This is actually the only hole of the 108 here at the landings that has no bunkers, no fairway bunkers, no greenside bunkers. Plenty of challenge though, for sure. And here is that lake cutting in a bit here on the left-hand side. So definitely with that pin as it is today in the back left middle. Safer shot is out to the right, as anything left that doesn't remain on the green has a very good chance of rolling down into the water. That brings us to the par 5 7th. Shortish par 5, plays about 450 from the club tees. But definitely has some teeth to it. As you can see, there's a bit of a carry here over some waste area here in front of the tees. The fairway off in the distance. One of my favorite holes out here on any of the golf courses, just the sweeping marsh views all the way down the right-hand side of the hole. And some great homes here down the left-hand side. And we'll have a look as we get out to the fairway. Here we are in the fairway. It's a fairly typical landing spot for many players out here. You see this great old tree with a bunch of character, which is going nowhere in the renovation, we've been assured. Waste area here, which may turn into two traditional larger fairway bunkers in the renovation. As you can see that from that right side, you've got a lot of carrier marsh if you do play down the right off the tee. I want to go at this hole. A little bit further to the left definitely opens up the hole a bit. As you can see the green off in the distance. And again, a bit more of those great marsh views here. Let's have one last look back from the 7th green back toward the tee and the surroundings here at the beautiful 7th hole on the Palmetto course at the Landings Golf and Athletic Club, excuse me. At just over 300 yards, the 8th hole is a sharp dogleg left short par 4. Question of just how much of that dogleg you want to bite off. There are some bunkers up there at the turn. Better players are going to fly it over those, and the revision here of the course, redo, will be making some changes to that to again make it a bit more challenging for the better players and yet more playable for the average player. As you can see, the carry here of the marshland and some more of those great marsh views before we head up into the fairway and to the green here at the 8th. And here we are in the landing area as we come in from 100 yards to this green. We turn away from the marsh, head back toward the clubhouse, crossing Landings Way South, which is the main thoroughfare here within the gates of the Landings. See quite a bit of bunkering around here. This will undergo some changes in the renovation, but the green complex here definitely is the defense on this, again, shortish, just over 300-yard par 4 from the club tees. And I'll see you on the other side of the road for the 9th. And the finishing hole of the front 9 here at Palmetto is a 360-yard plus par 4. Again, another dogleg to the left. Bit of a similar look in some respects to the 8th, but this is not quite as uphill. Certainly the second shot is not. In fact, probably a bit of a downgrade depending upon where you land. With the tough corner to take on, and with that extra 60 yards or so of distance, this is definitely a hole that plays a bit tougher as you finish up your front 9 here. Some bunkering and mounding to the left at the dogleg, which brings in more challenge along with those trees for those who are trying to really cut off a bit of distance here. Safer plays out to the right, although yours truly doesn't always play it out there, and sometimes tries to play it out there and doesn't play it out there as the draw gets a little hooky at times. Hope you're enjoying this front 9 look, and I'll see you at the green. Thanks again for joining me for this tour of the front 9 of the Palmetto Golf Course here at the Landings Golf and Athletic Club. Hope you enjoyed the tour. So again, feel free to reach out anytime with questions about the club, about the area, certainly about real estate here in the Landings. Be happy to help you out. Next time around, we will continue this tour with a look at the back 9. As always, thanks for liking, subscribing, and sharing, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.